everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Meredith E. Phillips, and today I wanted to do something a little different. I'm going to do a class review for you. I took a class through the EFA and it just ended last week, a few days ago. It ended recently, and I'd like to share what the EFA is, why I took this class, what I thought of it, etc., etc. So let's start with what is the EFA. The EFA stands for Editorial Freelancers Association. This is a group that formed in the 70s. They're an internationally recognized and esteemed group of freelance editors. Their website has a bunch of resources, some of which are available for free. I will link, of course, to the website below. Other stuff is things that you can purchase either as a member and get a discount or as a non-member and pay like the full price for it. So why am I taking a class through this group? I am a writer and I have hopes of being published one day, but I know that more than likely, okay, just we're talking like general averages here, more than likely I will not earn a full-time income from my writing anytime soon, and maybe never. There's a lot of writers out there who have been published traditionally, self-pub for decades, and they make money from it, but they're not at some sort of like full-time income wages. So a lot of writers have day jobs or some other way to supplement their income from writing. So one of my goals for 2025 was to explore some options for myself in terms of how can I be involved with writing, publishing, etc., in a way that will earn me additional money, with the hopes that one day this can be like my full-time gig. But I wasn't really quite sure what that might look like. So at the moment, I'm thinking that maybe freelance editing might be something I would enjoy. I like writing. I like helping other writers. That's part of the reason I have this YouTube channel. And so freelance editing could be a really good move for me. But of course, if I want to open any kind of freelance editing business, I need some qualifications for that. There's a lot of people on the internet who will be like, hi, I'm an editor, or hi, I have this service, and they have no qualifications. Or maybe they do, but they don't have it listed on their website, which seems a little sus, because if you had qualifications, like, why wouldn't you tell me about them? I am not going to be one of those people. I'm going to train myself first before I offer you paid services for anything. So the weird thing here is, in the editing world, there isn't like one kind of certificate or degree or training program that you can be like, okay, every editor is going to do this degree or this program and they get this qualification at the end and then that's it, they're an editor. Like, there isn't a thing like that. It's not like if you become a teacher or a lawyer or a doctor. There are very specific programs you have to go through in order to be certified as one of those things. That isn't the case for editing. It's kind of a collect experiences and collect training at various places and then that's it. So if you start Googling for, editor training, there are a lot of options. So I looked at a lot of different things, and one of the places that I saw constantly recommended as a good starting point or a good place to look was the EFA. The EFA has a ton of choices. If you want to be any kind of editor, they have things for you. So let's talk first a little bit about the EFA and what it is, what you can find there and that kind of thing. The EFA is a thing that you can become a member of. They actually recently, like literally last week, they redid their whole website. It looks really nice. And they have a new system for memberships and payment things. There's new tiers essentially. So if you're like me and you're just starting out, you don't have a whole lot of professional experience or no professional experience, you can purchase the base tier, which is $119 a year. Other tiers are a little more expensive. They also have tiers for students. So if you're currently in college or something like that, or grad school, you can purchase a lower cost yearly membership. There's a bunch of benefits that come with the membership, including 20% off their classes. There's a library of free webinars that you get access to. There's a bunch of other stuff that I personally haven't even explored. There's like forums, there's job boards, there's all kinds of stuff like that. I decided to go ahead and purchase a year-long membership because if you take 2 of their classes, it basically pays for itself with the discount you get on the class. So if you look at the website and you're like, oh, this looks good, and you think you're probably going to take more than 2 classes, I would definitely get the membership. So there's 2 main types of classes that they offer. They call them traditional classes and self-paced courses. Traditional classes are live in that there is an instructor, there are weekly assignments, there is a class forum that you can interact with other classmates on. The instructor is supposed to provide feedback on the weekly assignments for you. The price for the traditional classes varies a little bit. It kind of depends on how long the class is. Most of them are 4 weeks. Some of the more advanced ones are 6 weeks. And it also, the pricing depends on the advanced level of the class. So a lot of the beginner or intermediate classes are $350 for non-members, $280 for members. Some of the more advanced classes are a little bit higher. I think they get up toward like the $400 range for non-members. And after the class is over, you have access to the materials for 90 days. The self-paced courses come with all the videos, PDFs, all that kind of class material stuff, but of course you don't have an actual instructor leading the course. You don't have a way to interact with any other students. These are typically priced around $190 for non-members or $152 for members. And access to these lasts a year. I feel like this is kind of weird. Like if you take the live class, you only get access for 3 months, but if you take the self-paced one, you get access for a year. I don't know why they're not just both a year-long access, but anyway. So for my first class through the EFA, I wanted to take one of the traditional or live classes for 2 reasons. First, I really wanted the accountability of like the weekly assignments and materials. Everything was released on a weekly basis. And second, I really wanted the personal feedback from the instructor. I am so glad I went this direction for reasons we'll get into in a minute. After I decided what class type I was interested in, I then had to pick a class. They have so many options. There's everything from developmental editing to line editing, copy editing. You can focus in on a specific genre. They have like intro to romance editing, sci-fi and fantasy editing, academic journal editing. There's like a lot of different stuff. I ended up going with the intro to line editing class. I will say real quickly, it might be a challenge currently if you go on and you want to take one of the trad classes. They can obviously only run when there is an instructor available to teach and lead them. And currently the classes that are available to purchase are, I think all or most of them are like the intermediate and advanced level courses. But I would check back because of course as they're able to add other sections of classes, they do. Back in January when I signed up for this class, there were a bunch of intro to whatever, and now we're into like the intermediate and advanced classes that are running. Most of these conclude around July, so I'm guessing that maybe in like July, August time frame, they'll start offering those intro classes again. Check back, bookmark the site, check back in a few months if you're interested. So let's chat about the class I took and what I thought. So like I said, I picked a line editing class. At the moment, I'm not quite as interested in developmental editing. Honestly, it kind of intimidates me a little bit. And copy editing is more focused on like the grammar, which, I mean, I'm not opposed to that. Maybe I'll take a copy editing class next. I don't know. But so anyway, line editing is like right in the middle of those 2 things essentially. It focuses on cleaning up the prose, getting rid of stuff like filler words, filter words, making sure we're not head hopping within one POV. And it really is about helping the writer's voice shine and, you know, making it as strong as possible. So this class was divided over 4 weeks. There were a couple lessons to go through each week, which I found each lesson was very bite-sized. It was like 8 to 12, 15 minutes long, maybe 20 minutes long every now and then, but they were very quick little lessons to go through. And then at the end of the week, there was a homework assignment for you. The lessons were presented as videos and in text. So you could read through the text and watch the video. It was the exact same information in both. So you could do whichever was best for you to learn. The homework assignments usually were a little sample piece, a couple pages long of a story, and then you were asked to line edit it according to whatever we had learned that week. There were also questions that needed to be answered in the forums, which was a great place to then interact with other students. So because this class is meant for people who are either already editors or people like me who are training to possibly become editors, there is a focus within the class on how do I, as the editor, interact with the writer or the author of the piece. So we were talking about like, how do you tell them some kind of bad news in an email, or how do you craft an in-document comment so that it's not like, this is horrible, like you obviously don't want to say that. How do you make it understandable to the end user, right, the writer? So there's a good amount of information in these classes that is focused more on that like almost business side of things. So if you are only a writer and you have absolutely no interest in ever becoming an editor, there will be information and practice things in these courses that won't really apply to you. There is, though, information that would be really helpful. If you don't know anything about line editing, this is a great introduction to what do you look for when you are line editing, and you could, of course, apply that to your own work. But if you do not want the pressure of like the homework assignments at the end of each week, and you really don't care about learning how to do like, you know, well-crafted in-document comments and emails and stuff like that, I would recommend looking at the self-paced courses. There you can just get the information you want about line editing or developmental editing or whatever, and apply that to your own writing without having to worry about the other stuff. And of course, the self-paced courses are cheaper. So what are my final thoughts on this class? I absolutely loved it. I immediately signed up for the intermediate intermediate line editing class, which is starting in mid-April, the 16th. Part of my enjoyment for this class came from the material itself and the idea of line editing. I really liked it. It was a fun challenge to me, and I can see that as something I would really enjoy as a career. But a big part of my enjoyment for this class was the instructor. If you can take a class led by Amber Helt, I would highly recommend it. She was super involved in the forums answering questions. She posted a few bonus videos for us, but I was absolutely blown away by the level of feedback she gave on each assignment. This woman must have spent like an hour, and there were like 30 students in the class. An hour on each student's assignments, because I was shocked. I don't know what exactly I was expecting, but it was not this. She left me so many notes pointing out like, oh, this was a great way to edit this messy section here, or, you know, you did a good job with this, or, ooh, you missed this kind of thing here, or, you know, maybe this kind of edit could be better done like this, whatever. She went in with like in-document comments to comment on my comments, but then she also left like a page-long thing at the end of the assignment telling me, you know, a summary sort of the stuff I did good, the stuff could be improved, and all that kind of thing. I was shocked. I'm sure at this point in 2025, the vast majority of us have taken some kind of online class in the last 20 years. And I'm sure, like me, you've probably had varying experiences. I've definitely been burned by expensive classes that did not pay off for me, but I've also taken really great classes. You never quite know what you're gonna get with an online class, but for me, this was one of the best online classes I've ever taken. The lessons were really well laid out, they were clear, the assignments were engaging and challenging, and like I said, the feedback was phenomenal. I learned so much. The one, like, if I have to have a complaint, one tiny complaint. There is not a downloadable PDF version of each lesson. Each lesson included a PDF download that was a overview of the week, and it really was just like, this week we talked about head hopping, and here's like 3 bullet points about it. It was very brief. It didn't have any of the examples from the actual lesson. And I wanted everything. So what I ended up doing is I just copy pasted the text of the lessons into a Word document for myself. So I have that available for future reference if I need it. Yeah, but like having a PDF handout kind of thing of the full lesson would have been handy. But all in all, I would highly recommend the EFA for editing classes if you are interested. And like I said earlier, if you look at the website and there are a bunch of classes you're interested in, I would definitely recommend the membership because it pays for itself. So that's it. I'm really excited to take the intermediate class. The advanced class starts, I don't even remember, in like May or June. It's a 6-week class. So anyway, I think I'm probably gonna sign up for that one too. Special thank you to all of you who watch my YouTube videos, and extra special thank you to everyone who supports me over on Patreon, because those funds, the YouTube AdSense and the Patreon contributions, I don't know what to call them, the Patreon monies, that's what's funding these classes for me. So thank you very much for watching my videos and supporting me. If you have any other questions about the EFA or the classes or anything like that, let me know. I'd be happy to answer. And let me know if there's anything over there that you end up taking. For now though, if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, you can click the subscribe button. I usually post videos on Fridays. You're getting a little extra bonus video this week though. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye. This looks crooked. What the heck? I think, is that crooked? If the video is crooked, I'm sorry. I don't, it looks funky. Be perfectly straight. Okay, is that better? I don't know. All right, let's start.